Good morning. I am higher vibrations and so are you. And man, it's been a crazy week. I know that we keep saying that, but this in the past couple of weeks, I guess, I don't even know, but I can say this is that something happened. We shifted. We made it to some kind of other side. I know we keep saying that, but there's a lot of steps in the forward motion. And this um I noticed it Friday. So it was like a couple of days ago. Today's Sunday for me, so depending on where you are and where you're listening to. So, listening from, that was the 15th in the Northern Hemisphere. Suddenly, something like it felt less peoply out there. Not even so much noticing the traffic or anything, just less peoply. Uh, the energy had let up. Like I felt for it felt like a reemergence. It felt like getting to some type of place where you're able to kind of take a breath a little bit. I know some people are noticing um, increased experience, though, uh, in particular, the number of reports of people writing in or trying to contact me in a very variety of different ways and having to do with noticing the relationships or there's some type of something happening in a lot of this and I'm not talking only about romantic. We're talking about parents and children and aunts and uncles and grandparents and friends and work co-workers, and there's something going on there. I know that we've been told recently that there's another global dark night of the soul kind of event occurring right now, and often with that comes the purging or the shedding of relationships that no longer serve you. And not always is that the case. So if that's you, that doesn't mean that if you're having strife or difficulty in your personal affairs, that doesn't mean that they're parting ways with you, though often there is some type of a shift occurring. So just it's fascinating that that's occurring so much across the board. This weird headache stuff I wanted to talk about, because I don't typically get headaches, and when I do, I've had like four headaches this year already, and it's not something that happens. um, though this one has been lasting. It's still kind of dull, but it's still kind of there since yesterday. I would say that I really started to notice it. I remember waking up and thinking, how long it's been since I've had any type of alcohol in this body, yet I felt hungover. I woke up feeling hungover, and like my dream nighttime activity has shifted really profoundly again. A lot of people are having sudden recollection, even returning of dreams from an earlier time, like childhood dreams, as if they just occurred. It's really fascinating. The ringing in the ears have changed. It's changing again, and it's coming in a different way. So I find that to be really fascinating. Um, Also, have you guys been noticing, like the past little bit, the sun? Have you noticed the sun? It's like there's something, and I don't mean the solar flares and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely, that is something that's, we've been watching images of the sun, and what I mean though is from the ground. um, the sun is it's whiter, brighter, more intrusive feeling, more invasive. It feels like unpleasant and like just a shocking brightness. And I'm finding that I'm spending so much time in the shade. I'm wearing my sunglasses so much more frequently than before. I have light colored eyes, so sunglasses are something that I do, but I don't do it that as much as I have in the past until lately. It's something that's really going down. Also, the appetite thing. I wanted to talk about that too. A lot of us are noticing, like, unplanned fasting kind of things. We're having weird, uh, like for me anyway, my stomach is growling to an unpleasant degree. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to eat something because I'm kind of like not wanting to feel like this anymore, and I just can't. It's good food. It's good, clean, fresh food, and yet I'm just not really all that into it. And it's been going on for some time now. This started before Lionsgate. And so on and off this is occurring, but in particular, it feels like it's been going at least slightly since Lionsgate. So, I mean, we're talking about a couple of weeks now. I mean, since Lionsgate started, which was the 26th of July, and so, yeah, just this has been something that I really been, and then the vision stuff, you're noticing there's like a lot of people have been reporting a lot of this too, like the blurred vision, noticing that there's like goo coming off your eyes, and like, but then in particular, just this, it feels like you're out of focus, but you're not. It's so, I don't know how else to describe it or explain it. um and then the heart stuff, there's a lot of the heart stuff going on, heart palpitations, noticing your heart center in a much stronger way than before. um and that's, I find that to be mildly unpleasant, honestly. That this almost vibration of your core stuff going on in the heart center. you know um and then, you know lastly, I wanted to be mentioned before I'll go to all your comments. Good to see you all here. Welcome, everybody. Is the time slippage has changed again. Have you noticed that? Like, there's, I mean, we have like those moments where we realize that, we like, is it already, it's already middle of August, right? Is it already this time? But it's also like as if, hours are minutes instead. So it's weird, and it's so hard to keep up for me. I feel so like, and then, trying to do schedule type stuff. Like, so you have, like, this is an example of one of those moments. I wanted to be here on the time that I said I was going to be here for. Yet it just seems that it's more difficult to follow through with that, to make that possible. I mean, I'm still able to do it. It's just that I'm noticing it's more profound. Did you guys noticing that? Vanya, every evening, everyone. What a blast. I feel as if everything is disintegrating around me. What is happening? I know. Yeah, I'm noticing that too. It's like um it feels like we've somehow released some of the old world type stuff. Like, that's how I'm trying to, I think that's how I'll translate it, because that feels like that makes, it's like, I don't know. I know when the shift happened, it did cause, because it's less people-y. It's less people-y. I mean, I'm not even talking about traffic. Like, what I mean is, you can tell, you can feel that there's a noticeable smaller quantity, less people in your area. Like, it's just on the planet and in the area, and it just feels like something happened. And that I noticed it in a very real way 2 days ago. Was like, wait, where's everybody? I've lived in places throughout my life. Like, I've lived in a college town, and so all the kids go home for the summer for the most part. And then I've lived in like places that are remote enough that people use it as like their summer vacation place. And when they go home for the winter, there's that startling, whoa, it feels like you don't see the traffic yet. It feels like there's less people around us. This is, and it's not just me reporting this. When I commented on it, everybody seems to have some type of experience with that. And I wonder if that's kind of what you're describing here, Vanya. It's just like and then with there's other things that just, you can't even remember what it was that you're noticing that was missing, because as soon as you notice it gone or missing, it no longer matters. You realize it doesn't matter. I don't know. Jess says, "Hey y'all, meat grinder of a week, right? I'm so sending you a tight hug, Vicky. Vicky, I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm sending you love." Sigh. I had a couple of mine cross the Rainbow Bridge in the past years. It's a big heartbreak. I'm sorry to hear that, Vicky, and for you, Jess. I know that there are individuals um, exiting right now, quite a few, and for babies as well as us. Maybe not us, but a lot of people. I've been hearing quite a bit about this, and because of it, we're also noticing this lingering grief, mourning kind of sensation that's just kind of an undertone of each breath, and often we don't even realize that it's connected to outside of us. So I'm sending you love, though, for your experience. That's both, all of you. Patriot Hero, all I know is I keep breaking out with acne on the back and my neck. It's so annoying. Thank you for bringing that up, Patriot Hero. It's been weird. We've been purging more. We don't just purge through, the mucus that leaves our body and our bathroom waste, but also through the pores of our skin. And as these, things that are no longer in alignment with us, these toxins, we call them, because it's no longer in harmony with you, purge through your pores. Sometimes they kind of get stuck as they on the exit route, and so it'll turn into this, like, it's not quite acne that I mean, sometimes it can be described exactly as what you would call acne, but what I'm noticing for me, it's not quite acne. It's like something, it's similar, some type of purging that's happening through our pores. Yeah, and it is very annoying. Also, specifically, the neck, actually, in the upper back, in the back of the head, has been really serious purge place. What I'm noticing for me, there's a lot of this, and it's something coming out of my crown chakra, or excuse me, my third eye, my brow chakra area. But then, others, I can tell you this too. This has been kind of fun, Patriot Hero, is that using the same knowledge base or collection of information as you would for acupuncturists, or to find out what organ is related to what, emotion, underlying emotion. You can also do that for the area of your body that you're noticing having these outbreaks. So consider, typing what emotion is connected with the neck, or maybe the more specific area of the neck. But this is it. It can be annoying. Epsom salt bathing does help. If you can't bathe, I find that, like wet, having a damp cloth and just kind of sprinkling a little bit on the outside of it, and like using it like to exfoliate your body. It helps. Not quite as much as a bath. If you can soak in it. I remember when we were in a situation where we just had this little shower. I had one of those big blanket totes, those big plastic carrying, storage kind of container things. It was quite large, and I was so needed to take a bath and soak in it that I just got that in the shower, and if you do that, this is my little tip. Make sure that it's not over the top of the drain when you do this, of course. And then also you want to scoop it out with a bucket or something. You don't want to just try to dump that out. You rather break it or make a huge mess. But anyway, I did do that, and that really did help. But yeah. Hi, Mila, says Vegan Vixen. Yes, it's been brutal, hasn't it? Such a struggle. It's been really a weird time. Like, it's been really intense for all of us, I think, for a little while. But I feel like that was that kind of let up a bit on yesterday, was really when I kind of felt like, okay, cool, but then I don't know, we're kind of back in it again. The headache is increasing as I speak. Right, it's like real third eye and like over the left eye. I'm mirrored. I don't know how to make that not happen on this streaming service, but yeah, and with it too, noticing like serious, like, muscle spasms, twitching all over the body. The For me, it's been really noticeable, like in the eye and the lip, the mouth area. Those drive me crazy. But it's back, the shaking out. Hi everyone, feeling better this afternoon. I'm glad to say. I'm so happy to hear that, Sprite 400. That's awesome news. Yeah, I feel like a lot of us kind of had a little bit of a reprieve, and maybe some people don't fully feel it, or maybe didn't quite yet, but there's some type of reprieve in the time that we're in right now, and keeping in mind, that today is like the only day I have for like quite a while on my calendar of this month where there's nothing significant written regarding celestial movement, planets and stars. Of course, we're in the middle though of a lot of stuff. If you look out, just what is that, northeast, more east than north, around 5 a.m. local time, you'll see the lining up that's happening between, Mercury and Venus, and that's really pretty. And then, of course, in the next couple of days, it's going to start so it's on Tuesday, where they're calling it the celestial gathering or the dance of planets. It's Venus, Jupiter, Pollux, Castor, and the crescent moon will all be dancing together as seen from the eastern horizon, pre-sunrise, so around 5 a.m. for me, is when you would see that. So it's kind of a cool thing to see if you want. But it's interesting that today feels the way that it does. It feels like it's an uptick again, and yet it's silent. And there's not much to really see exactly. Oh, I don't think I read your comment, did I? Excuse me, Andrea. The energy was sky high last week. I had quite a bunch of pressure on my head. Yeah, Andrea, I'm actually feeling that now, but the energy was super high. I don't know if you guys have been following the Schumann very closely or not. A couple of days ago, it hit 100%, which it doesn't typically do. You usually go on there and you'll see it's like 62%, 12%, something like that. And 100% is kind of a big, and it's like a bell or a clock. There's a tickingness to it. It's like stop, stop. It doesn't actually stop, but I mean the intense white energy that you'll see on the reading of the Schumann resonance, and as well as other things that are these earthquakes and the volcanoes, and man, there's so much happening, like, oh my gosh, and there's just so much being revealed right now all over the world. Hello, Jim. Good to see you. Welcome. I'm still eating for whales, guys. Well, everybody's different. I've noticed this conversation come up a bunch of different times where people have said that they are worried that because they're getting their grub on when people are reporting having no appetite at all. And I find that to be true. And it's correct. Whatever is going for you is correct. But each one of us prepares or moves through certain kinds of energy differently. And no way is more correct than the other. It's most correct for you, So it's just really interesting to notice your appetite, how it changes. Like, are you noticing that you're wanting to eat more? That's usually what happens during these big energy times when others are noticing that they are lacking the desire. Feeling kind of spacey and weak in the legs, says Deborah. Hey, thank you for saying that. Actually, I was going to bring that up. It feels like someone's dumped a bunch of concrete on you, right? It's not dry yet, but it's getting close. I'm noticing that too. And I've talked to a couple people about it yesterday, and the day before, I think, too, as well. But it's really weird. I feel like almost like you're walking through water. When you walk through water, it's like you got all that water in your pocket. So there's like this lag, this drag that's happening. It feels kind of like that for me. I'm also noticing a lot of weird, like pinprick kind of sensations all over the body along with this. It doesn't feel exactly like a pinprick, but I can't think of a better way to describe it. Just that quick ache that could be, a nerve kind of pinch feelings, but it's just in one specific location. I say pinprick because of the small area that we're talking about, as if it was a pinprick. But yeah, there's something like that with that going along at the same time. I'm noticing I wonder how they're connected. And loud ear ringing again also. Yeah, it's weird, man. The ear ringing is going on right now. It's weird, and it's kind of distracting. There's a popping or squealing kind of thing happening in the third eye. I don't know how many of you hear these types of things. I hear things that it's weird, but and for me, this means that things are being like shed off of the third eye or the pineal gland. But this weird, it sounds kind of like, I don't know, the best, and I know it's not this at all, but the best thing I can compare it to kind of give you an example of the sound. It sounds like that squelch sound of putting like like, I don't know, I haven't done like maybe like a sausage or a hot dog on a really hot surface, that like that sound, you know what I mean? That's what I'm noticing. And then right after that happens, then the ears start to ring. One side is like underwater, muffled hearing, like someone's cupped over your ear, while the other one's going, off on some type of like, it's like multiple octaves at one time, so it's some type of like song almost. There's a lot of that going on. It's really fascinating. But thank you for your comment. Vegan Vixen says, anyone having sore and inflamed mouth, gums, and tongue? Lots of tongue and mouth stuff going on across the board for pretty much everybody, I think. I'm noticing the back and forth of the weird taste in the mouth that, it's gone away for the most part, but I noticed it yesterday again, just slightly. Oh, by the way, speaking of, before I forget to tell you guys, I'm going to finish this comment. Excuse me. I got bird, squirrel, whatever. And inflamed gums, on uncomfortable gums. If you're noticing that this is you too, salt water rinses do help, but they don't solve the problem completely. I am noticing it though, that it also clears the mouth of this unpleasant taste. You know, I also on a regular, I will drink this water. Not like a whole large quantity of it, but it's really good to remineralize your body if you're in a hurry. But the best way to do it is to put the pink Himalayan salt or Celtic salt directly on the tongue. It absorbs easier that way as it moves down to the rest of your body after you swallow it. The absorption rate is diminished down to 2% versus starting with the measurement. Let's say 100% is what happens when it's on your tongue. Of course, you don't absorb all 100%, but very close in comparison. So that does help. People will sometimes put it underneath their tongue. This helps for a lot of different ways. I just wanted to tell you guys something funny too before I forgot. We got a pumpkin back in Halloween. It was like about September last year. And it wasn't a real pumpkin, like they call it a real pumpkin. It's supposed to be a real pumpkin that was grown and you're supposed to carve it and stuff. What we did was we painted it, and Maddie liked it so much that she kind of tucked it away someplace where I didn't realize it was still in the house long past Christmas. Anyway, so then it's become a little science experiment, because we knew it was not one of those kind of pumpkins that we in our family would eat it. We wouldn't. Anyway, just yesterday, I've been watching it. It has not had any deterioration. And then just yesterday it blew up, and now my house smells like corn chips. We haven't had chips of any kind in this house for so long. It's very strange. Speaking of aromas, I thought that was really interesting. And, we're really glad we don't make things with these pumpkins, because that's almost a whole year sitting in room temperature environments. Yes, Mila, the goo from the eyes, says Deborah. Yeah, dude, it's weird. We're noticing a lot more releasing of mucus lately too. Like the other day, when I woke, I had so much mucus in my body that I had swallowed quite a quantity of it, that my body was just purging it all out. It was really unpleasant, kind of like morning sickness in a way. But a lot of this mucus being shifted out. What I get from this is we're purging that which is not actually us, so it's got to do with, likely to do with parasites or something like that. So too, I think this stuff from the eyes. If you are interested, there's a lot of different things that people will do for cleansing of these, so because we do get a lot of parasites, in particular around the eyes. So it's not always what this group Ascension experience. Sometimes it's actually just the leavings of these parasites, and wormwood, black walnut, and whole clove together, those three, as well as something that's a binder like parsley or oregano or something like that. Diatomaceous earth, charcoal. There's a lot of different things you can use for a binder. These binders, or like 5 jalapeno seeds, like you don't have to chew them or anything. Um, these things will all really help, but it's really fascinating. Thank you for your comment, Deborah. Mariette says, I have a hard time in remembering, even what I was doing the day before. It looks like amnesia. Right. I'm noticing this too a lot. In fact, I've commented, I was talking to somebody about it yesterday. This is something that we are all experiencing in some way, I think. It's like, it feels like, um, well, though I've observed it and taken notes while it's happening, and I'm noticing that what's happening is got to do with something about our timelines, where there's moments or things that I'll make an observation, and no one else recalls it happening the way that I recall it, and then I'll remark about it on in writing so I can have it keep it there, and then I don't remember it anymore. So I'll go back and be like, what was that? What even was that? So I'll have to go and read it. But, I know it's happened many more times than I've had access to pen and paper at the time, but it's fascinating. There's something happening here. Like, I know that, oh goodness, I don't know. It's been quite some time now that the Arcturians came in through me and said that they were correcting our past. Please stand by. Um, Now, I'm not quoting them verbatim. The correcting word, I don't remember what word they used. I remember being like, that's funny, because it didn't, it was, it was suspending time in the way that they had worded it, as if they were undoing a past, making a past having not happened. Anyway, and I wonder if this is a symptom of that. You know, we are being shown quite a bit a history that belongs to our species, and this world that has been held back from us. It's being undone, and a lot of this undoing is only, something that's been done for a couple of 100 years. From what I really get from it, it's fascinating how this undoing and this period of revelation that we're in. Yes, the hard stuff, vibrations, flutters, and palpitations, says Therese. Yeah, dude, I'm feeling it too. It's really uncomfortable. It's super unpleasant. I could go without. um, I it's frustrating, because most often I'll notice it just as I'm starting to lay down and go to sleep, trying to go to sleep. Last night I didn't have it, actually. Now that I think of it, I noticed it in the moment, like, oh, that's pleasant. I finally get to just go to sleep, But yeah, it's been really weird, and the way that it comes in, it's just so like bam, and then it's gone again. Often, if you look, you'll see there's always a delay in these reports from these data streams. But if you look, you'll often see that there was just a spike in energy on the planet. Like the Schumann says that there was a spike. There was some kind of crazy earthquake or whatever. I know we got a lot of stuff coming in through the Bermuda Triangle right now with this Aaron. I think it's really interesting that it's called Aaron, because Aaron was the name of an example I used just a little bit ago. And I didn't know, like, you could spell Aaron in many different ways, kind of thing. And here it is that they called it this um, Hurricane Aaron. But there's a lot of cycling of this energy. And remember, this is the placeholder of Australia. So there's a lot of like this ancient Aboriginal, or I don't know the correct term or way to say the name of the tribal people of Australia. I've been told that there's another term that's preferred. So please excuse my lack of knowledge with that. However, there is a lot of code coming up through that, and so too we're feeling it move through us. Sensing less / low soul energy. Yeah, exactly. Mystical insights. Like, I feel like there's it's I think that I feel like what it has to do is there. I don't know if it's connected to what we would call mass exit exactly, but I feel like it's connected to there being less contrary beings present. And so now we're just kind of like recollecting or reconnecting to our own energy edges that maybe were being shared by others that maybe weren't supposed to, or wasn't in the most harmonious uh, entanglement. You know, it's interesting. Thank you for your comment. Thank you, vegan. Oh, and you guys are talking to each other. I try to not do that. Good to see you all, though. Deborah says a lot of people around here feel like they are empty, like no one in there. Yeah, yeah, maybe that is. I have noticed that too, but I wonder if that's what is, because we talk about NPCs, non-player characters, and the background people, backdrop people. There's a lot of different words. I always call them filler people, you know, because it feels like they're filling up the space. Like in a video game, there's a couple of characters that you really will interact with, but the rest are just kind of like, sometimes you'll see them bumping off the wall and can't figure out how to get to where they're going or whatever. Or they're just running and they're like stuck in front of a car. That kind of example, maybe not so literal as that, but similar. We'll notice that. Um, but I kind of wonder if there's more of this, because I don't know. It just feels there's something changed, right? Right? Yeah, it's weird. There's no one in there, and there's it's not an insulting thing. It's just like I feel like maybe they went somewhere else, like they were done doing what they were doing. You know what I mean? Joy to share. Hey everyone, this is Josh. Hey Josh Fuller in my other spaceship, broadcasting from an alternate vehicle. Well, I love the name Joy to Share. That's awesome. And I like your little icon there. It's cool. Good to see you. Yes, all surfacing for sure, says Don. Yeah, it is. It's just like popping all up. And it's in order for us to address and to kind of evaluate it, it's kind of like dumping out the junk drawer in the kitchen. Everyone's got some kind of collection place, whether it's a big plate by your front door or something. There's this place where sometimes it's any surface, landing surfaces. I remember living with people, the landing surfaces were always covered in just stuff. Well, it's now going through those quantities of piles and finding what's not in alignment with you and leaving what is. Ran B says, I was feeling off all day yesterday, and I got a text from my mother if I was okay about an hour after I woken up yesterday. Interesting. Yeah, it felt, it was different. It was different for sure. And different isn't always bad, but it's a it's different. Some things I haven't put my finger on it quite yet, but I can tell you this is that the communications from those that are assisting us, there it's like a heartbeat. There's a pulse or a rhythm to it, and there's also reprieve moments. And I'm noticing there's a bit of a reprieve, and then there is a catching up of our own kind of energy exchange. Does that make sense? So there's something going on, and all of us felt it. Deborah says, is anyone having their hair shedding? A lot of reports about hair related stuff. My hair is actually seems to be getting thicker, but I've done that rosemary oil thing, and I haven't done it for a little while, but quite a month or two. But like all it is half a cup of castor oil, half a cup of coconut oil, and like 10 drops of rosemary oil. You don't put all of that on your hair at one time, but you want to basically get the roots. It does strengthen your hair, and I've noticed some regrowth. Like there's for a minute there, I had a bunch of little hairs poking up. They were all the same length. If anyone is having that difficulty, and then you want to leave it in for at least 4 hours, I'll usually just do it when I wake up and like a day I'm not going to do anything or go anywhere. Or if I, don't have that luxury at that window of time, you can leave it in your hair while you sleep with a cover. I have one of those sleeping cap things. But yeah, a lot of people have been reporting that. Hello, Fleur. Touching between eyes gives release. Yeah, I saw this. There's a hilarious meme. I think I reworked it but there's this doll with a little. Someone pushed it, and there's like indentation, and it said, "There's science behind touching this spot and stress release." And then there's this doll. And it's like me after going to a store, and there's a big bubble indentation. It does work though. There's something else that I've heard of in a variety of different places, that it's not the best idea to let others touch you there. Maybe with their own crown, or with their, why do I keep calling the third eye crown? That's really interesting. I wonder. Anyway, Um, but there's just a thing that people said, and also to not having anyone else touch your eyebrows. I don't know. Have you guys heard that? It's kind of an interesting thing having to do with energy exchange. Uh, Beginning to wonder if I have much left. Oh, she's talking to. All right, I'm gonna. Can you speak about the loved ones who have passed? I miss being able to talk to my mom about metaphysics, says Vanessa. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, like so. Maybe give me a little bit more of a concise question, and I'll look for your question. Uh, I know that those who have gone on um, are we're in the middle of what we call a mass exit, and there are quite a few leaving, and who have left, and so there is a global sensation of grief. You know, um, EF tapping, great for acknowledging if it's emotional or physical. Niggle making us pay attention and allowing all to move through with breath. Thank you, Kaz. Yeah, that's a there's so much to the tapping. There's so much to the tapping. So, if you want to look it up, I remember I can't. I remember I just wrote tapping and in YouTube, and I found like a whole bunch. There's other things that people, that is not what I was looking for. That was had to do with tapping, but if you read it this way, so if you can see the comment here, EFT, then it's meridian. It's like there's certain areas of your body that you can go and you can do all the different points, but I'm not the one to teach you. There's people who are much more. I follow them and look at what to do. So I suggest that you go and check it out. There's some real awesome release that our meridian lines throughout our bodies are often neglected. I've been journaling my experiences, Edward. Oh, I'm really happy to hear that. That often will not only give you a place to go back and refer to it, but then that's what the means of channeling to come through. Terry says, I'm having everything possible happening from head to toe, severe joint pain and very blurry vision on top of everything else. It's horrible. I'm really sorry to hear that, Terry. I know that there's a lot going on. Toes in particular, the big the right big toe is back in the Ascension symptom list. Everybody, we've been having so many people talking about that right now, noticing that there's some. I know it sounds so random, but the fact that it's very specific, and so many are having the same experience. You know what I mean? Super interesting. Um, and I can say that I resonate with what you're talking about. I the difference between my experience and yours perhaps only being that relief just started to happen, and maybe you're not sensing the relief yet. I hope that you do, but it's been a pretty this since July, really, a lot. I mean, it's funny when I do that. Hi, Cara. When I do that, because then I want to go back farther and farther and farther in time. Spinal soreness and knees. You know, with this spine stuff, it actually really, really helps if we allow ourselves to just for a moment go into a semi-meditative state. So you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, and it's best to align your chakra. I slouch, well, especially when I'm in this, because I'm trying to be my camera's at the bottom of the screen. So anyway, so it's best to straighten your chakras, and then visualize this rainbow fluid light. So it's fluid, so it moves like this, coming in through your sacrum, which is your lower back, in the back, and it's coming up. Look, you can look up where your sacrum is to be very specific if you'd like. Pulling in this rainbow light and going up through all of your chakras, circling above you and coming back through you again, creating the shape of the Ankh. The Ankh, like the artist formerly known as Prince used to act. I think he actually used that symbol as his name for a while, and it was like a big joke for a period of time, but it's kind of interesting to look back on that. Anyway, and allowing the energy then to go down, dig down into the earth below you. A lot of times that will really super duper help. There's spine stuff going on for everybody right now, in particular for this hippocampus kind of expansion and removal of these parasitical energies that have been connected to our brainstem, the lower part of your brain, and into your upper neck, upper spine, I guess, but it's your neck. This area has had, energy that is being purged. And so a lot of us are noticing this spinal sensation all the way through. That's earlier we talked about it with Patriot Hero, acne as well as soreness, and it's these weird like boils or what seem like really, really crazy ingrown hairs around the back of your head and neck and even upper back, like, and they're meant to burst to get that stuff out of us, but I'm noticing it a lot too. This started in March 25th, that same day that we noticed above London the spiral in the sky. Definitely a huge improvement in relief for me since Mercury going direct. Yeah, I mean, Mercury just went direct. It was so freaking awesome. That happened a week ago, and it still feels like it just barely happened. You know what I mean? Like Mercury went direct on Monday, so 6 days ago, and that I'm noticing it's kind of. I have so many Aries placements. You know what I mean? Like I got so much Mars and Aries in my chart that when having so many different planetary bodies in Aries is actually really, really uplifting for me. I'm finding it to be very useful energy, but not everybody feels that way. There is this previously divine masculine sensation coming from these energy bodies when it's now turning into more of a balance between the two, because the partnership of Artemis coming into the fold is very fascinating to observe. And how many of us have gotten that same message is really interesting. So thank you for your comment, Jess. I am so exhausted and lightheaded. I can't seem to get grounded. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. That's also why, because when I talked about my appetites, like hardly anything. I'm usually, if I'm going to eat something, my body wants some type of root, either potato or carrot or, sweet potatoes in particular. There's a lot of this, like, the more that it's grown in the earth, like radishes also, there's different, what I mean by in the earth, like deep in there, so like a potato or a sweet potato or these types of ginger, you'll find a lot of different things like this. And it's fascinating. I find it to be grounding. So I think it's really, if you can go out into nature, it helps with grounding so much more. But I'm finding something fascinating that this grounding doesn't seem to last as long as it used to. And so you're almost like wanting to go back right after you get back home. So if you can also get the same kind of sense, a similar result from going in your backyard, your front yard, any kind of, even if there's not grass. I lived in a place where it was just gravel and concrete, and I definitely noticed assistance by doing that in the grounding of it barefoot, but it didn't help quite as much as when because there was a patch of grass. If I walk over to that spot, there was just a teeny tiny patch of grass. It did help a little bit more. It was noticeable. So that does help, but I'm with you, Lyra. It's weird. It's weird how difficult it feels to ground. I feel so floaty and like otherworldly. Like I feel like I'm walking, like, remember those old commercials from the 80s, the V8 commercials? They're all walking like this with this on an axis instead of that's what I feel like, kind of. And like the dizziness has come back. It's slight dizziness, just enough that it makes you feel like, whoa, where's gravity almost? It's kind of a mix between lightheadedness, dizziness, and vertigo. And I'm feeling it right now as we talk, actually, but it's been something that's been going on a lot. We're also having an increase in communications with the others. And I use that word because I don't know. This covers a lot of different group. I usually use the word spirit, though in this way, this is like also galactic kind of energies too. There seems to be more experience and people reporting it, not just them, but for me as well. I know, all of us are having some kind of other kind of contact happening right now. Um, what's most frequently reported, however, are the silhouettes of light with a shadow. And that part, the shadow part, usually kind of alarms people. And what I mean by the silhouette of light, so it's like, these lines behind me, they're kind of faint, like more like this one probably, where it's probably, it looks kind of like it would be white, but it's real faded, and it just edges their whole like body. And then inside looks kind of like a dark matte color, and it almost seems like shadow. And often it's alarming for people. We'll typically see it in our peripheral vision first. Usually it's the left side versus the right in the beginning, but not always is that the case. If you're on the right side, you're not doing anything wrong. It's like being left-handed. It's okay, exactly what's supposed to happen. Often these are not shadow beings, though. They just seem like shadow because you're seeing their aura first. Um, and you can ask about it. If you send love to them, to anyone who comes through, if they are of love, they will send back love in a higher quantity than you sent it to them. If they are not of love, they will flee, for the shadow cannot stand before the light. It's a very useful way of like repelling anything that's not. And then you don't have to worry and wonder, is this okay? Is this a good person? Is this a good being? You know what I mean? So just keeping that in mind. Also, the orbs, that's probably above all else the most commonly reported one of all is the orbs. Um, Often they're orbs that are glowing, but sometimes they're orbs that are absent of color. It's like it almost like a cloaking mechanism that is funky because you can't see behind it, but you can't. It looks like it's weird. But these will go around us a lot of times, and most I see them almost always as bright colors, with a white is the theme, and then the color is just like a glow. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to try to explain that, but it's like if its background is white. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is super common right now. People are having this. The telepathy is coming online. You know, how many times recently have you noticed? Have you thought of somebody and then the phone rang, or they sent you a text, or you received email, or you found out that they were thinking about you and needed you, or something like that? How many times have you noticed that you begin a conversation or address a topic that the other person was planning on, and hey, I was going to say that. These types of things are often discounted and not seen or noticed for what they are, and so it's kind of useful to know. Lyra, a comment also about the lightheadedness. This connects all very much with these energies that come in. I notice that I feel very unstable inside my energy. Not like bad exactly, but it feels like I got a bit of an adrenaline dump, like a quaking inside of us, but it's not exactly bad. It kind of feels like it did when you were in high school and you were like next to your crush almost, but not the emotion that the inside part. I notice this happens often when you interact with higher frequency beings. It really does. Kind of, they hold a higher frequency than I do, right? A little hungry, but absolutely nothing appeals to me. Right, Andrew. That's really what, because I'm not noticing. I'm surprised because I'm the one that buys the groceries, and so I know how regular we need to go to the grocery store. I know how, but we're a week and a half past our normal having to go back to the grocery store window of time. It's not just me; it's also my daughter. She's also consuming less, and we don't eat like this is when you're supposed to eat. It's time to eat when it's time to eat, when you're hungry and you want to, you know and eating this way, we'll often notice not eating until late in the night, for the first time. At least me anyway. you know she's really good about letting me know as we go through the days, but this is something that's been very noticeable. And then I'll look back sometimes and go, oh, I didn't eat yesterday and I didn't even realize it because I've been eating so late. It's called intermittent fasting, how I eat these days, for the past, probably 5 years now. these days, but is that I removed requirement that my body eat and certain breakfast is how it worked, and now I find that I only eat evening meals, so. Vegan Vixen, I've had a huge veg/fruit juice, lots of lemon water, and a big dish of berries and yogurt, potatoes, broccoli, peas, and cauliflower earlier. That amounts to 12 portions of fruit and veg. So you're on the other spectrum, and good for you. Like, I mean, go for it, man. I mean, every one of us have a different experience. Not everyone's going to feel the lack of appetite. They're going to notice that. I go through those periods too, where it's like, I need to get my grub on, get out of the way, like kind of stuff. And the Buddha belly is, I'm noticing it too, that back and forth of it. Like right now, it's actually gone down today, but it's just like, it's really weird. But lately, I've been noticing it a lot more. We will notice that water flows where light must glow. The light is required for healing to be achieved. And so we'll notice the water will swell in areas of healing. It also helps if you put direct healing. So place your hand upon the area. That's why when you get hurt, you put your hand there and it swells. The light needs to have the water to amplify it and to cause the effect required. So if I've been noticing that I have been putting my hands on my belly a lot more, and just as you said that, I'm actually it's mostly gone right now. So I mean, I've only been doing that for like 4 days. I've known that was what to do. I just haven't thought of it. So maybe try that. But a lot of people are having it, and it's not bad. It doesn't mean there's something wrong. I don't know why I was doing that. Eating dark chocolate. Again, dark chocolate has so much value. I've had so many people talk about it. Usually when I get done with a show with Elsa, she has to go have her chocolate. Like it's a thing. It's totally a thing. Terry says, "Oh my gosh, yes, the ear ringing. I feel my heartbeat while trying to sleep." Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so distracting. It's so distracting. Yeah, so Deborah's talking about the Buddha belly too. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about that. Thank you, Mila, for touching on the exit of everyone. It does help to hear it, says Vicky. Yeah, we're having a global mourning sensation. Many of us are sensing this grief from afar. Not always do we fully realize what it is that we're sensing, and sometimes we read into it and think of it, oh no, is this prophetic or something like that? But it's actually us, most often us sensing others. Yeah, we have our own healing of this grief and mourning that is also being amplified so it can go. But I feel like most of it is us sensing the others leaving in tandem with us realizing that we've left something behind us, our old self. And though coming into this place where we're in more alignment, and we're still in that motion where it's like the foot is in mid stride, having that motion, and we're in this new energy, we still are in the other energy. So there's this like weird in between, and we're seeing the goodbye of that foot as that left foot now picks up and begins the stride forward. Does that make sense? Like we're noticing maybe our existence, well, that we had before was unpleasant, unbalanced, and it could straight up suck. But it's what we've known for how many incarnations. This is what we've known. This is what we've called home, even if it's maybe not the best. And now we're saying goodbye. We're realizing that each step forward, there's not less and less access to look back, as if it hadn't occurred at all. And so we're also experiencing our own grief, or grief for ourselves. And yeah, I'm glad Jess brought this up, because I actually was going to say something about this. But so Guardian just did a live group meditation the other day. I also put it up in the Telegram group. But if you haven't, I think I also posted it on the YouTube community section. If you can't find it that way, excuse me. just inhaled a little bit of saliva. Excuse me. Go to, if you can't find it in any of these places, just J. Zoltan here on YouTube, and you'll find him. He's also going to be doing a marathon every day meditation the last week of the month. I'm not sure which day he's starting it, but he's going to do a marathon where every day he's going to start live and do a violet flame meditation. I believe it's up there. The violet flame meditation is transmutation. It's the transmutation and alchemizing of all of what's around you and within you. We're in the year of transmutation with the year of the snake, and so this is in perfect alignment. And for any of you who have done Guardians meditations, in particular when he touches into the violet flame, it's pretty profound. So I encourage anyone who hasn't had a chance to check it out. Guardian's most recent violet flame meditation, says Jess, helps with physical reset, relief a lot. Thanks for posture on and alert about that this week, Mila. Did it again today, and my heart singing. Awesome. I'm so happy. Yeah. It's going to be really fascinating to see how much clearing everybody gets to do through using this resource. If you get a chance, it's on YouTube. He already did it. I believe it was on Thursday that he went live, and then he will be doing it in a week or so. He'll start doing it every day for a week. So it'll be fun to see. Yeah, Guardian's meditation was really nice. I think I am going to revisit it. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. And I'm going to be joining live on occasion. I mean, not live like you'll see me, but I'll be in the audience for, quite a few of those meditations at the time, the ones that line up. I don't know when he's going to do it yet. I'm pretty sure he's going to go on at 1:00, but some days I'm busy at 1, and so I won't always be there, but I will be in the audience often. So I look forward to seeing y'all there. It's going to be a fun, interesting week. Yes, Chaz, I will go buy more. Kaz, sorry. Hello, everyone. Good to see you, Amanda. Welcome. I was actually thinking about you earlier. How are you? Hello, Lavender Sky Panther Varley. Hi, hugs plus love to all. Good to see you. Interested in how you've situated yourself there and your new location. Cara says, interesting. It took 8 months for the pumpkin to blow up. I know. Well, it actually took. So we bought it in September last year. We got it early, and so it actually took closer to 11 months. It was almost a year. So that's just something, because we're in the end of August now, or well, not end, but middle. It's closer to the end than it feels like it anyway. Yes, Mila, says Kaz, all part of purge and processing. We're working super hard right now. Yeah, we so are. Yeah, and it's purging. The purging that we're doing, remember your water. Remember that we find our electrolytes mostly in these mineral salts, like Celtic salt, pink Himalayan salt, pink salt. Table salt doesn't help us. It seems to do the opposite for us. It seems to like a magnet pull minerals from our body. So that's just my impression of how it feels to me. So whatever is, that's, do whatever it is correct for you. But that's where I go with that. And, to stay hydrated through the use of electrolytes with water. Have you noticed that if you consume a little bit of the salt and then drink the water then is so much more thirst quenching than if you just drink a bunch of water? Because I've been noticing that. Have you? The more water you drink, you're like, it's not working. It's not doing it. It's just a very strange thing until you bring in some electrolytes, or perhaps, bringing in some of this water or salt. Yeah, Guardian's meditations are so awesome, Galactic Grape. I really like his meditations. If you get the chance to go check it out, you'll be happy you did. Joy to Share says, love the way you describe that, Mila, with two feet. I found myself making that same analogy about having one foot in one camp and the other in the other camp. It's a transition. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, there's actually it's not even mine. That analogy or that visual is spirit. They Because I asked where we are, you know, we've had our right foot in the air in mid stride for a while. But they'll show me where we are. And like now where we are, it feels like the left foot is starting to pick itself up, like, bent, how you start to, like, the high heel position of the foot, as if we're fully moving forward now. We're in the gonna put the right foot down. We're gonna put it down. It's gonna happen. you know yes, pinch of salt always helps me. Amanda says, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how much salt improves and assists us. um, did Guardians meditation, totally relaxed my stomach, stress, amazing, awesome. Yeah, anyone who gets a chance, I have it in the community section of the YouTube channel here, as well as if I haven't posted it in YouTube, I or on Facebook, I will. I think I posted it on Facebook that when it was happening, I said like live meditation now or something. Interesting. Saint Germain is believed to be from Transylvania. Fascinating, Susan. I didn't know that. I wonder if Guardian knows that. Um, I did that meditation and it stormed like crazy here. Even trees knocked down. My boys were a little freaked out. Oh my gosh. While you're trying to do the meditation, it's really fascinating how much has been going on, man. It's really fascinating. Um, yes, it's gonna happen. We're gonna. It's like we're about to put the right foot down. I mean, we're here. Like you even feel the temperature difference because like the temperature controlled environment of inside where you're going into. It feels like there's like this shift in temperature. Like we're really there. It's just about patience. I'm so tired of hearing spirit use the word patience all over me. I've been hearing patience for a long time. I started to joke about it openly in 2021, but I feel like it's been going for longer than that. Like they're showing us what's going to happen, and it's in the motion of happening. But in spirit, all things are so much more gradual than they are for us, that it doesn't, it's like, come on, put the foot down. Come on, come on. It's like, it's just like, you don't want to go over there and jump up and down on the foot to help it press it down, but that's the motion that needs to happen. It's in its motion in perfect accordance with what will assist it, so that's cool, Josh. I've just started a compost. Oh, you know what? I didn't click on. I saw that. I was catching up in the comments because I need to get going. Here it is. Hey guys, make compost and throw rotten veggies in there. The seeds will propagate there, even when you don't intend for them to grow. Yeah, it's fun. And make liquid fertilizer with old greenery. It can be anything, just submerged underwater. Can make any soil viable this way. Yeah, it's really fun. I look forward to having place where I can like have real garden situation set back up again. I really miss it, but this it's so much fun. This compost piles that I've had. I grew the biggest squash plant that I've ever seen. It took up a radius of 17 feet, and there was one particular arm of this plant that grew all the way across the yard. And I didn't know what it was because, well, and then it started to show. I was waiting to find out. I was doing all those like plant identifier things. It was just so amazing. It was a spaghetti squash plant, and I was super excited because I love spaghetti squash. But this was near a compost that had been also, I added like acorn squash or something. Anyway, it created a hybrid, and I was so disappointed. The outside looked like a spaghetti squash, but the inside looked like the squash I don't like very much. I was so sad, but it was crazy. And just that really good fertilizer just growing in its own self in the compost. If you don't have any like you can get these compost things that are, in my opinion, rather expensive, for your kitchen. and it creates the dirt. Basically, it creates soil. It's not dirt. Soil is different. Soil is nutrient and dense earth, where it's made out of compost. You can also use worm castings. I remember we experimented with that. We had a worm farm for the worm castings. Worm castings is just worm poo, basically. There's the liquid version, and then the solid soil like version. It's really fun to use this stuff. Um, it's yeah it oh, you have a question. I'm going to add this really quick. Whoa, cool hybrid. Even if it didn't taste that good. Yeah, it didn't taste good at all. And like I was just kind of, but it was cool. What I ended up doing, and I didn't think this through until after I left, but I ended up donating most of them to the food bank. And after the fact, I thought to myself, oh, crap. I should have said it looks like spaghettis. Maybe some of them were spaghetti squash. I didn't open them all up because I wanted to share, someone's going to eat it. Sure. But anyway, yeah, it was pretty funny. It was really interesting. My garden is starting to get bigger than my plant graveyard. Awesome. Okay. Well, that's all that matters, right? Well, I'm happy that people are playing in the dirt because uh, doing grounding, this helps with grounding. This helps with a lot of different things. If you play in the soil, even in the wintertime, especially in the wintertime, I find it relieves all of the unfavorable experiences we'll have regarding um, like seasonal depression and just the difficulties that we find when we are like feeling like cabin fever kind of stuff from the winter. Bringing in soil and playing with it with your hands for about 10 minutes or so. I didn't even do it every day. I was doing it like every fourth or fifth day. Um, but you can also do it with your feet for 5 minutes. In moments of 5 minutes. You don't have to do it that long. You don't have to bury your feet either. Just place the soles of your feet on top of it. This does help, especially in areas where perhaps you live in a place where you don't have access to some place to ground. Bring the soil in the house. I've I've not found like the measuring line, but around 2 years or so of use is when I end up feeling like I need to replace the soil. So it works for a really long time. So anyway, I should get going. It's been such a wonderful treat to engage with all of you and be in this place together. And I just wanted to remind everybody that, yeah, we're in some kind of flare of energy right now. And the sensation of anticipation is, an underlying like breath of everyone here. I feel like everyone knows something's coming. And those who are not fully aware in the awakening of what's occurring around us, um, many of these individuals are sensing this as scary energy. And so we will feel during these times, we will feel an increase in, uh, you know, anxiety like sensations moving through us, weird fears popping up. I noticed a bunch of weird fears popping up for me, like really old kind of stuff, that I was surprised to notice, so if this is you and you're feeling this, please, know that you're not alone, and this isn't something that you have to, it's not prophetic. You're not being told that something bad's happening. It's others are thinking that it is, you know what I mean? Because they don't know how to translate what's happening. They just know in some place inside them that something's up. So thank you all for being here. I love all of you, and I'm sending you all so much love and energetic hugs. Know that you're not alone, and we got this. So I'm sending you all the light of the moment, and I'll see you in a couple of days. I have good to see you, Pamela. I'm having a wonderful guest that I actually haven't met before on Wednesday. So it's going to be really fun to see how this conversation goes. I actually need to connect with her and make sure I get a picture. I have to look her up in the email. So thank you all for being here, and I will see you very much. Wow, that's funny. I was reading. I will see you all very soon.